What is up, everybody? Welcome to the sanctuary. Oh my gosh, that is so exciting to say. My name is Sienna Gonzalez, and I am going to be running this YouTube channel. How exciting! Just to give you guys a little bit of a background before we dive into the more high production studio type scientific videos, I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to get to know me as an individual, as a scientist, just as someone who hopefully you'll spend lots of time with as you prepare for your exams and review concepts. So I have been a lover of YouTube for a very long time. The content that I want to make on this channel doesn't necessarily fit into one box. I think science is going to be a very unifying theme on this channel, as you can probably tell from the channel name, but I don't want to just box myself into creating concept videos or how-tos or lecture type videos. We're going to do a lot of exciting things on this channel. We are going to visit some microscopes. We are going to do some story times. There's going to be lots and lots of fun video formats, especially for those of you who have existed on YouTube and spent some time within the space as I have growing up. So I really hope there will be something here for everyone. And today I've prepared a couple of questions. Thank you to all of my friends who responded to my Instagram poll. And today we are just gonna get to know me a little bit better. So let's get into it. Just a brief background before I get started. I am currently a graduate student at the Colorado School of Mines. I'm obtaining my PhD in materials science, so that's my current sphere of expertise, but I did obtain my undergraduate degree in chemistry from the same institution. So I've been at Mines for a really long time. I have seen parking garages get built. I have seen restaurants come and go. Yeah, I've been here for a while, and I really love Mines as a whole. Currently, I'm involved in the Graduate Teaching Fellowship. It's an opportunity where students who obtained a college teaching certificate can serve as mentors and help those who are also going through the program. So we have a large deliverable that is going to be sort of a work in progress throughout the course of the year to really just make a lasting impact in whether it's our department, our community. So that's what this YouTube channel is. I hope to make a large impact, sharing my love for science with the world and with all of you. So that's a brief introduction to me. Let's get to the questions now. That was crazy. My hair was like stuck. Yeah, I don't know. Hold on. Let me take a drink of water. All right, so the first question is related to teaching. I really love this question. Simple and short. How was it to teach your first class? Unfortunately, my first time teaching was pretty much a complete flop. So I started off helping out my advisor in grad school. That was the first time I truly got in front of a classroom, whiteboard marker, and lecture. That was my first opportunity with teaching. I went to undergrad at Mines and I was there for like 4 years. And then I also did my grad at Mines, as I mentioned. So there were students in this class that I knew. And I kind of knew that going in. I mean, I prepared for it as I would have prepared for any other lecture, but there was that added pressure of like, okay, there's people in this class that I know that know me. Maybe some of them know of me, I know of. Yeah, so there was a little bit of added pressure there. If it had just been a bunch of random students, maybe I would have felt less nervous. But yeah, going into it, I was like, okay, I'm going to prepare for this. It was an inorganic chemistry lecture, so the students were learning about vibrational analyses for different point groups, different molecules. If you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. We'll get into that on this channel. But we were learning about different molecules, and I was co-teaching with one of the other more senior students in my lab at the time. So my advisor, he gave us just last year's notes, and it was just a list of molecules. And the point of the class was just to walk the students through some of these vibrational analyses and then give them a chance to like work through them on their own, show them on the board. Yeah, it was a very interactive lecture. So I knew going into it, I was going to be working with molecule X, Y, and Z. I knew there was going to be kids that I knew in this class, and I knew it was going to be interactive. What I didn't know was in this class, was one of the girls that the guy that I liked in undergrad told me not to worry about. So this guy that I liked, he told me that we couldn't date because he wasn't ready for a relationship. Please do not ever wait for somebody if they say that they don't want to date, because 9 times out of 10, that fact probably isn't going to change. Nothing ever ended up happening anyway. No shade to him. We're cool. We're really good friends now. So he'll probably be fine with me telling the story. I was like 19, so I really didn't know any better. But deep in my subconscious, I knew the phrase, "I'm not ready for a relationship," means I'm not ready for a relationship with you. And back then I used to think it was because of like shortcomings in me, or maybe it's something I did or didn't do. No, like sometimes things just don't work out and it's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with you. Like please don't ever think less of yourself because of like relationships. Anyone watching this. But yeah, I knew deep in my heart, I knew he liked this girl. He liked this girl. And anytime that they would post together and they were on Snap, anytime he was with her, he didn't respond. I was crazy as hell back then. I used to check the Snap map to see the last time he had snapped, and that number was going up, but it wasn't going up with me. I was crazy as hell. I knew deep down that he liked this girl. Sorry, I'm editing right now. My retainer is in if my voice sounds a little funny, but I just need to make it abundantly clear. This girl did nothing wrong at all in this situation. Nothing wrong. She probably didn't even know any of this was transpiring. Like, she did nothing wrong. No ill will whatsoever towards her or him. This happened years ago. It's just a funny story to recount. Okay, I really have to like nail this lecture. Like, I can't look stupid in front of the girl that he told me not to worry about. So, unfortunately, the other student gets to lecturing first, and he was just flying through these examples. The other student who was lecturing with me, he went first because he was older. He was just flying through, and before I knew it, he blew through all of the example molecules that we had both been given and prepared, and class was only halfway over. So, this kid blows through all the examples, comes over to me, puts his papers down, and he's like, "All right, your turn. Get out there." I didn't have anything. I did not have anything to present by this point. So I was like, okay, I'm going to look real dumb if we end class early. And I didn't want to end class early either because I was really wanting to teach. This was my first time getting in front of the classroom and teaching. So what did I do? I went up to the front of the classroom and started improvising. And I drew a random molecule on there. I knew the space group, C2V. By the way, if you're taking an inorganic chemistry test and you don't know what the space group is, just put C2V, C4V, I don't know. One of those, it's going to be one of those two, like 90% of the time. I just guessed. I put a random molecule up there. I was like, yep, we know the point group is C2V. I was coming up with random stuff. The sigma, the Mir planes, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know if it was IR active. I didn't know if it was Raman active. Yeah, it was not good. It was not a good look. And the worst part was the students were like raising their hands and like correcting me. I was messing up. I was doing so bad. Students kept raising their hands. And they're like, actually, wouldn't it be like a 2 here? Or like, I see another Mir plane. Like, I think you forgot a Mir plane. I wanted to disintegrate then and there. And it taught me to always be prepared for any questions you might get, because if you are giving a good and engaging lecture, that usually means students are going to be dialed in and they're going to be asking questions. And you want that. As an educator, that's a huge compliment when students are locked in enough to recognize your mistakes. And nobody was mean about it. Of course, nobody was mean, but I just felt so embarrassed. It was my first time. And with the added tea of the situation, nah, it was interesting for sure. But don't worry, your first teaching experience, don't let it define you. Don't let it define you. All right, so the next question is, do you wish you went somewhere different for grad school than undergrad? The answer comes to mind very quickly, and the answer is absolutely not. I always knew that I wanted to stay in Colorado. I've lived in Colorado my whole entire life, and my family lives here. I absolutely cannot survive by myself. I'm just gonna be honest. I tried living in an apartment during undergrad. I was eating sandwich meat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I can't cook. I hate being by myself. could not move to an entirely different state and be by myself. So knew I needed to stay close to family. I've traveled a lot too. I don't think that I cheated myself out of an opportunity to experience different places, because this year alone, I think I traveled to like 10 different cities. I go to a lot of K-pop concerts. I go to a lot of conferences, and I've experienced many other places, and nowhere comes close to Colorado. Maybe Italy came a little close, but nowhere that I could feasibly live comes even close to Colorado. I don't see myself living anywhere else ever. So that immediately narrowed the application pool to where I was going to apply to. I also wanted to pivot to material science. So I started off in chemistry. I didn't want to pivot to like a materials project, like stress and strain and fracture. All of that is two materials for me. So I wanted to stay within the realm of inorganic chemistry, but maybe dipping my toes into applications and materials, just to broaden my horizons a little bit. I also really didn't like organic chemistry or PChem or any of that. I only really liked inorganic chemistry. So I knew that chemistry wasn't going to be a good fit either. So all of this narrowed me down to really just two programs that I applied to, because I knew I needed to live at home, and I knew I needed to be able to commute to whichever school I applied to. So I did apply back to Mines, and I applied to CU Boulder as well, just because I didn't want to regret not giving myself the option. You know what I mean? I was worried that like, okay, maybe I might have like a what if situation if I only apply to Mines and get accepted and only go there. So I did apply to CU Boulder. I did not attend the campus visit. I did not respond to any of the emails. I opened the offer letter, and that was about all that I interacted. I'm sorry, CU Boulder. It is a beautiful campus, but I knew immediately that I wanted to stay at Mines. And I actually had a great opportunity to still grow and to still broaden my network if I stayed here. So my advisor, Dr. Richards, is from the chemistry department. He was my undergraduate advisor too. He let me know that there was going to be an exciting new project and partnership between himself and Dr. O'Hare from the MME department, who was actually my fuel cells teacher. So with this specific project, I was going to have ample opportunity to still work in chemistry and still use the tool set that I had gained from undergrad research, but I now had a chance to apply everything to materials and really branch out, make some new friends over there, learn a little bit more about that side of things, and honestly, everything fell into place. So I'm very happy with my decision to stay at Mines. All right, next question. Why did you decide on teaching? What brings you joy about it? This is another awesome question. Honestly, I have always loved presenting. I know that's kind of an unpopular opinion, maybe. I've always loved getting up to the front of the classroom, lecturing, explaining things really complicated in an easy to understand way. I've always loved sort of sharing what I know with others, and whether that was in the form of my flop vlog channel in like 2018, or whether that was tutoring students one-on-one, I've always loved helping others understand complex concepts. And once I actually got a chance, apart from my first teaching experience, but once I got a chance to teach again, I loved it so much. There's no feeling like it. Being at the front of the classroom, getting to speak to the students and explain things and answer questions and just connect and get excited about science. All of it is my perfect and ideal sort of work environment. So that's what inspires me a lot as far as teaching goes. All right, last question for today. Maybe we can do a part 2 in the future if you guys really like this video. It'll be a great opportunity to just take a break from the hardcore science content. So maybe I'll sprinkle another one of these in between the inorganic lectures. The last question is, who inspired you to make content? And I did allude to the answer to this question already. I have always been a lover of YouTube. I've watched many creators on this channel over the years, but I think this channel in particular is most inspired by a few different individuals. So the first person I want to shout out is Tata Games, rest in peace. She recently passed away due to stage 4 cancer, and Tata was the first one who really showed me how to be yourself on this platform. Not to say that the other YouTubers that I watched weren't themselves. I'm sure they were themselves, but Tata was very, very adamant about doing YouTube for the sake of you wanting to do YouTube and making the types of videos that you want to make rather than making videos that you think will do well. Taeda knew how to really cater to the algorithm while also staying true to herself. And I know she made gaming content, but just seeing somebody so authentically themselves on this platform was very refreshing. She did YouTube for her love of YouTube and for no other reasons, and I miss her terribly every day. So rest in peace to Taeda Games, my inspiration. I'm also inspired a lot by some of the science channels that I've watched here. So the Infographics Show is a favorite. I really love crocheting to their videos, and they just make very easy to understand, informative content. So they're awesome. Cleo Abram, love her. She is the epitome of girl boss in STEM. She's just awesome. She makes such exciting content, all sorts of different branches of science. I think she just really does a great job, similar to Taeda, showcasing her personality and communicating these complex concepts in a way that can, rather than discourage others, get others excited about science. So Cleo is a huge inspiration as well. All right, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry I looked a little chopped. I didn't even put my contacts in for this video, but it's fine. This is the real me. And I will definitely be uploading more to this channel as the year goes on. So feel free to comment any questions for my next Q&A. You can comment any content you'd like to see, concepts you'd like me to cover. And yeah, see you guys later.